First I want to, thank y'all for being here, extending your hand, extending your time to come join me today to get this lesson that I prepared for you all. So I definitely appreciate y'all being on, man. We got a mighty lesson planned today for brothers. So all praise to the Most High. So let's go ahead and kick it off, man. So let's get to it. So, if brothers see my screen, y'all see that precept, right? Ecclesiastes 10 and verse 10. That's our opening precept. Ecclesiastes 10 and verse 10. Can brothers see that on my screen?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So let's get this precept to start off. I'm gonna read it here. Ecclesiastes 10 and 10. It says, if the iron be blunt and he do not wet the edge, then he must put to more strength. But wisdom is profitable to direct. So I'm gonna ask brothers, what do brothers think that verse is going into? If anybody want to take a crack at it, brothers know what that verse is going into.
Salakia, man, I couldn't hear. What was the question again, King?
Do brothers know what Ecclesiastes 10 and 10 is going into? It says, if the iron be blunt and he do not wet the edge, then must he put more to strength, but wisdom is profitable to direct. I'm asking the brothers want to take a crack at what that verse is going into.
See.
Mm, Man, like he got to sharpen his sword, get his wisdom up. Need to study more, like to show thyself approved.
Uh, Not necessarily, not quite. Anybody else want to take a shot at it?
Get to it.
Because if not, I'll just dive right in. So I'm gonna go to the blue letter real quick. Or not the blue letter, but we go deal with Bible Hub. It has different translations on Bible Hub. So we're gonna look at Bible Hub, Ecclesiastes 10.
So, what's the topic of this discussion?
We gonna break it down in a second. Just bear with me. It's the reason I'm bringing this precept out and going with the flow a certain way. So
Gone.
you guys will get the lesson in a moment, the title of the lesson in a moment, but I just want to open this precept up to hone a point home here. So Ecclesiastes 10 and 10. If you just look at the NLT, and actually let me select this from my more real quick. So if you look at here, like the NLT, or what I want to see, yeah, the NLT, it says using a dual axe requires great strength. So sharpen the blade. That's the value of wisdom. It helps you succeed. So this verse is pretty much saying like this applies to multiple things. So if we have a dual blade, it'll take you 3 hours to chop a tree down. But if you spend 10 minutes sharpening it, you can save yourself 2 hours and chop it down in an hour or 30 minutes just for spending that upfront time to wet or sharpen the sword. And that's what this lesson is going into preparing yourself and making certain steps up front before you so you can better plan things. That's what the lesson is actually going into. I'm gonna show a couple examples of this just to kind of hone the point home, and then the full topic will come to light in the next slide that I'll pull out. So 1 Kings 6 and 1. 1 Kings 6 and 1 says, and it came to pass in the 480th in 8th year after the children of Israel were come out, or 80th year, after the children of Israel were come out of the land of Egypt, in the 4th year Solomon's reign over Israel, in the month Zeph, which is the 2nd month, that he began to build the house of the Lord. This is 480 years after the Exodus. Solomon started to build the temple. right? And when you jump down to verse 7, it says, and the house was, it's like in the house, when it was in building, was built of stone made ready before it was brought thither, so that there was neither hammer nor axe, nor any tool or socket or iron heard in the house while it was building. So they prepared all of the items before they started building. So once they started making the frame, they could just slide and put things in, making their job easier. They wet the edge, right? They wet the edge of the sword. Here's another example of that practice in the scriptures. When you read Proverbs 24, verse 27, it says, right, let me put my screen. It says, Proverbs 24 and 27, prepare thy work without and make it fit for thyself in the field, and afterwards build thine house. So you have to prepare things ahead of time in order to make it easy in the long run. All right. So,
Lucky.
yeah,
What was that precept in First Kings? That First Kings 8:1?
that was 1 Kings 6:1, and then I just jumped to verse 7.
Okay, con.
Just to get to the point to show that they built everything, like all the furniture and for the temple before they even built it. So by the time they just put it up the frame, they was able to just slide the stuff right in. So they had all the perfect measurements ahead of time. And that hard work up front made it easier in the long run. Okay, so this is Luke chapter 14. And I want to start at verse 28. It says, for which of you intended to build a tower sitteth not down first and counteth the cost, whether he have sufficient to finish it? As any architect, any project, before they build and do, they'll make sure they have the proper material and count the cost before building it. And even when you continue to read down to verse 31, you will see it mentions a king. They get counsel and understand where are people stationed and what's over the borders prior to making a move. And that's those opening scriptures I brought out. All is going to tie into what the lesson is going into, and it's time management. That's what this lesson is actually going into. This lesson is about time management. Time management. What is time? Right, time is a resource that you just can never get back. That's what time is. It's a resource that we're unable to redeem. The only resource that's like that on the planet. And management is the control of time. So to be able to control your time is the greatest asset you can have outside of just just dealing with the Bible and the scriptures. It's better for your finances. It's better for your marriage, your physical, your mental well-being when you take control of your time. And this lesson is set forth because I understand a lot of the times when we get into this truth, you got family, household, job, you might have a business on the side, certain things you're doing, and juggling so many plates, one might break when you're dealing with all of this, all of these things at once. And it might be hard to balance and manage that time. But time, again, managing time isn't an easy task. Managing time is not an easy task. It's going to take hard work and dedication and time. And I gotta fix something on this real quick. Give me a second. So give me a second here. So I'm working with some new stuff here, so I'm trying to. I just gotta bear with me a little bit. Cut this off. Some people waiting in the lobby. Okay. Add these brothers. Pray to the Most High. So yeah, we dealing with time management. Time management. Let me see this. This thing has stopped working on me, man. You got to build the plane while we fly it sometimes. That's just how it goes. All right. Okay. There we go. There we go. That's better. That's better. That's better. All right. Cool. All right. Cool. Pull the slides back up. Yep. Time management. That's what the lesson is. That's what the lesson is. And like I said, mastering this will help you just in life in general. And I love you, brothers, and I want to help y'all out in general. So let me get Psalm chapter 90 and verse 10. It says, the days of our years are 60 years and 10. All right, 60 and 10, so that's 70 years. And if by reason of strength, they be 80 years. And that's like the average lifespan today. Like, I think the average man lives like 72, woman might be 76, something to that effect. It says, yet it's their strength, labor, and sorrow, for it is soon cut off, and we fly away. Since we know of the power of thine anger, even according to the fear, so is thy wrath. So teach us to number our days, that we may apply our hearts unto wisdom. So I bring that out to say, life is short, man. Life is short. Time is a non-renewable resource. Let's take control of that thing, so we're not wasting and withering time away. How many weeks have you gone without reading, or months you've gone without fasting, or just you said, I'm going to get in the gym. You said, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and you just haven't done it because it's quote unquote not enough time in a day. But you check your screen time, you're on Facebook for 5 hours, YouTube for 3 hours watching folly. You're not managing, taking control of your time. So it's time we conquer time. That's what we go do today. We go conquer time. Right? I got another precept in Proverbs chapter 4. Get this precept, Proverbs chapter 4 and verse 26. It says, ponder the path of thy feet, and let all thy ways be established. What does it mean to ponder? Ponder just means to think upon. Think upon the ways of your feet. Think about the direction you're going in, and then let all your ways be established. You do that by certain techniques that we're going to go into. We're going to show you certain techniques of dealing with time management. Okay? So let's get into
like that was Proverbs 24, you said?
Proverbs 4 and 26.
4 and 26.
Yes, sir. Proverbs 4 and 26. So today we go over, all right? Today we go over 3 methods when it comes to managing your time, right? You got time blocking, the Pomodoro technique, and then something that I recently learned called habit stacking. So write those 3 things down. That's the 3 methods of taking control of our time, pondering our steps today. We're going to ponder our steps with these 3 methods that we're going to learn. You're going to implement it into your life, your work life, family life, study life. You have to take control of your time. You have to have a schedule. Time blocking, the Pomodoro technique, and habit stacking. And we got a bonus for you when you wait to the end. We got a bonus for you when you wait to the end. So brothers got that. Brothers wrote that down. You see it on the screen. Time blocking, the Pomodoro technique, and habit stacking. Brothers, make sure they write this down. This is a very valuable lesson, like I said, to your life. Okay? I put this together for you brothers, and hopefully it's well received and appreciated. The brothers got any questions so far about anything?
It's like before you brought up Proverbs 4 and 26, was this something before that you brought up?
Yeah. What was that?
First Kings 6 and 1.
Yeah, before First Kings, it was Proverbs 4 and 26, and then I had brought out
Ecclesiastes 10 and 10.
it was another
the
one.
first
Right.
It was Ecclesiastes 10 to 10, 1 Kings 6 and 1, Proverbs 24 to 27.
It was one
Luke
before Proverbs.
14.
Yeah,
And then there was some
14.
after that.
Well, it was I'm sorry, it was Psalms 90 and 10
That's what it
through
was.
12. Basically,
Kinda,
where the Lord
that's what it
said,
was.
teach us to, count our days and basically understand that time is a precious thing. And we don't have any time to waste. We already wasted however many years in the world. So now let's just conquer our time fully and utilize these methods that that are out there, right? And like I said, we got 3 methods and then a bonus when you wait to the end. So we go get right to it. So the first method is one of my favorites, time blocking. Time blocking is when you just section off a specific amount of time for a specific task. Okay, and let's get the classic Ecclesiastes 3:1. The classic Ecclesiastes 3:1 says this: to everything there is a season and a purpose to every and a purpose under the heaven. So that's everything. The Lord has an appointed time for the sun to rise and go down, for the moon, for the seasons. The Lord has appointed times just on the earth. So we need appointed times to deal with things. And I'll explain further. A lot of people get misconstrued when it comes to dealing with time management, and they think it's profitable to goal set. But that's not really what we should be doing. And I'm gonna actually get to that real quick. So how many brothers got goals? Like you might say, hey, I want to read 3 chapters a day. Like how many brothers do that when they study?
So can you please repeat that last? You say Ecclesiastes what again? My apologies.
Sorry, Ecclesiastes 3:1.
Tawada.
God. So I'm gonna ask brothers, how many of y'all, when y'all setting up a schedule, if you have a way of studying, like you just say, hey, I'm gonna pray this many times, I'm gonna read 7 chapters, and I'm gonna do this. Like how many of y'all like have those kind of like goals in your schedule?
Uh,
A lot of brothers.
yeah.
Look like a lot of brothers. Well, guess what? We're not dealing with goals, right? We're dealing with systems. Okay, the Chiefs' goal was to beat the Eagles. The Eagles' goal was to beat the Chiefs. Losers and winners all have the same goals. I'm going to read more. I'm going to exercise more. I'm going to pray more. But what separates the winners from the losers? The system separates the winners from the losers. A system is a set of repeatable steps to get the same result. That's what a system is. It's a guy's name is Bill Walsh. I got a quote from him. He said the scoreboard would take care of itself. You got to think about someone like Kobe Bryant. His goal was to be the best, to be 1% better every single day. And he had a system in place for that. I'm going to get up this time. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And the scoreboard took care of itself. So you need to set aside these goals and focus on a system. And time blocking can be a part of that system. I'm not going to read 7 chapters a day. Me, I read 20 minutes a day. Whatever I get in 20 minutes, that's what I get. And why does that help much better? Because if I set a goal to read 7 chapters a day and all hell break loose and I only read 4 chapters, now I feel bad. When I got 1% better that day, I actually read. Somebody that didn't read at all, but you're upset because you only read two chapters when you were supposed to read 7. And that does something to your psyche as well. You know, Solomon said he understood the reasonings of men. That's psychology. So we all have a similar way of thinking. I don't care if you an Edomite, an Elamite, an Israelite. We all have a brain as humans and it works a certain way. So that dopamine doesn't go off in your head when you don't accomplish that goal. But when you do accomplish goals, you feel good about yourself. So if your goal is to read 10 minutes a day, regardless what you get out of that 10 minutes, that'll infuse the dopamine. And why time blocking also helps is because you're able to focus more. If your goal is to read 7 chapters, you might read 2 or 3, phone go off, now you doing that, now you doing this, and now all hell broke loose and you didn't read, versus setting a timer for 10, 15 minutes, throwing your phone, throwing all distractions away, and just focus on that task. I'm gonna let you out on another secret. That's not how humans work. I realize if I read to 25, 30 minutes in that range, my brain, it gets fuzzy. I can't retain the information as much. And this is something I had to learn as I grew in this truth. I came in the truth. I'm gonna read this many chapters because my favorite teacher said it. Well, they don't understand psychology. They don't understand how the human brain really works. This is stuff I study. I read this kind of stuff. You gotta listen to what I'm telling you. This is coming from psychologists and books. This really works. So you want to set specific time apart to do certain tasks, and you can easily manage your day. Okay, I got 3 free hours today because I spent this much time reading. And I only spent 20 minutes reading the Bible because I read other books. I spend an hour reading total every day. I read 20 minutes business book, 20 minutes communication book, 20 minutes self-mastery book, books like Atomic Habits, where I got some of these ideas from. Then I spent 20 minutes reading the Bible. That's what I do. So I separate that throughout my day, and I got a certain way that I go about it. But I read that 20 minutes. I might read 2 chapters, 1 chapter, 3, 4, 5 chapters. Doesn't matter. I read and I got what I needed for the day. You see what I'm saying? So I'm going to get this in Proverbs chapter 21. So we got to say, forget our goals and focus on creating a system that is a set of, that gets you those results you want. Because trying to read and just overstuff yourself with all this knowledge, you can't even retain it. I can't sit there and read for 45 minutes without taking a break or stretching or getting up. It just won't work for me. And that's most human beings on the planet. Right, so this is Proverbs 21:5. It says, the thoughts of the diligent tend only to plentiness, but of every one that is hasty only to want. So the thoughts of the diligent is going to lead to prosperity. So when you diligently focus on a system, when you diligently time blocking off certain things, it can lead to the results that you want to garner, which is more reading, more prayer. Okay, that makes sense to brothers. Brothers got any questions?
It makes sense though.
Done. All right, so we're gonna move on to the next thing here. The next thing here is the Pomodoro technique. So the Pomodoro technique is when you deal with kind of like the time blocking. That's why I use that time frame. It's when you study in intervals. So let's say you got flashcards. However you study, you would study the flashcards for 25 minutes. Take a 5-minute break. 25 minutes, 5-minute break. And by the time you get to that 4th one, you would take a 20-minute break. And that could be with any task. I'm going to do 25 minutes. I'm going to read the Bible, 5 minutes rest. 25 minutes, I'm going to do the flashcards, 5-minute rest. 25 minutes, I'm going to read a history book or whatever. Then I'm going to rest 20 minutes and then come back and do some more tasks. That's the Pomodoro technique. Right? Just doing things in intervals, so your mind can have that rest. All right, and I got a couple precepts on this. So I'm going to get Galatians chapter 6. Get the book of Galatians chapter 6. Galatians chapter 6 and verse 7. I don't want brothers to miss it. Galatians 6 and verse 7. I'm going to read on to verse 9. It says, be not deceived, God is not mocked, for whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. For he that reapeth to his flesh shall of the flesh reap corruption. But he that soweth to the Spirit shall of the Spirit reap life everlasting. And let us not be weary in well-doing, for in due season we shall reap if we faint not. So the Lord is using harvesting for a reason here when it comes to you reap what you sow. And if you sow of the flesh, you will get things of the flesh. You sow of the Spirit, you get things of the Spirit. And ultimately, don't be weary in your well-doing. Don't be weary in your well-doing, because you will get the reward in the meantime. And he used sowing and reaping, and he used harvesting for a reason. So I'm actually show y'all about our feast days that a lot of Israelites might miss. You know, we just sipping yan and going to venues, but it's an actual time frame and purpose behind the feast days outside of just spiritual meanings and things of that nature. There's an actual physical purpose dealing with the land. So I'm gonna show y'all that for brothers who don't know, and it deals with harvesting. So this is Ecclesiastes chapter 23 and verse 14. It says, 3 times shalt thou keep a feast unto me in the year. That's the 3 major feast days. We understand Passover, Pentecost, Feast of Tabernacles. It says, thou shalt keep the feast of unleavened bread. Thou shalt not eat unleavened bread 7 days, as I commanded in the time appointed of the month Abib. For in it thou camest out of Egypt, and none shall appear before me empty. So that Abib time is March, Aprilish. That's the springtime. That's why when you read Leviticus 23, you will see the day after the Passover, after the Passover meal, you got the Feast of First Fruits. Now, a lot of people misconstrue it and say Pentecost is Feast of First Fruits. I'm not sure brothers heard that before, but the Feast of First Fruits is the 16th of Abib. It's like the day after Passover. It's that first few crops that they'll take and give to the priest, because that's the springtime. During the winter in Palestine, it'll be heavy rainfall, and that's when they take the oxen and they'll weaken up the ground, and then they'll sow the seed in the winter. So during that springtime, the first fruits come, and then they give that to the priest. And when you continue to read in Leviticus 23, that's why I tell you they didn't eat any green corn until Pentecost, which is the next big feast day, because that's when it finally grew fully ripe. That's why I say don't eat this corn. It wasn't ripe yet. When you read, and that's all Leviticus 23. I'm not going to get it, but you can read that. So this verse 16, in the feast of harvest, the first fruit of thy labors, which thou hast sown in the field. That's Pentecost, calling it the feast of harvest. In the feast of ingathering, which is in the end of the year, which thou hast gathered in thy labors out of the field. So that's the fall time. That's why during Memorial, that's what I'm saying. When you dive a little deeper into the scriptures, that's why during the Feast of Memorial blowing of the trumpets, they blew the trumpet, because that symbolizes the harvest moon. Like the harvest moon this year is October 6th, and Tabernacles is October 9th. So that first full moon, that seventh full moon in a year around that time period, it's the harvest moon. That's what it's called. It's called a harvest moon. That's why I said the end of the year here, which we know is 12 months in a year, but it's talking about the end of that harvesting period. Notice it went from Passover, spring, all the way through winter or all the way through fall before they gathered it in. That's why in Galatians 6, he's using that analogy, because when you're sowing, the results come slowly. They grow over time. And that's what this whole time blocking, that's what this whole Pomodoro technique, time management goes into. Again, if you spend every day 10 minutes reading, 20 minutes reading without missing a beat, you're going to reap that benefit, versus you falling off and you upset and because you didn't read your 10 chapters. You don't have to read 10 chapters a day. You're reading for 10 chapters, forcing yourself to read, going to sleep while you read and trying to read, knowing your brain not retaining it and it's fuzzy, but you just heard a brother say, stay on fire, read 10 chapters. Versus actually doing what's right for your physical human body. And that's what's right for. You got to take breaks. You have to get what's sufficient for you. Like I said, I read 20 minutes. I might read 2 chapters. That's sufficient for me.
You bring spaghetti. Why you always messing while you eat? Get this stuff on right here.
Hold on. Brother muted. But yeah. So that makes sense to brothers?
Make a lot of sense.
All praise to the Most High. So I'm going to keep reading here and or get another precept in Ecclesiastes. Dealing with the sowing still. Just to hit it on the head a little more. So this is Ecclesiastes 11:4. It says, he that observeth the wind shall not sow, and he that regardeth the cloud shall not reap. Going into the sowing and reaping again. That's why even Christ, he came with the sickle. He's going to reap the harvest. They always compare it to that because our feast days are based on that. We're herdsmen. We're people of the field. That's not people of the field like Esau, but we're herdsmen. We deal with crops, and that's our forefathers. That's who we really are. So it's always comparing it to this stuff. He called us the cluster of grapes and just always comparing us to that. So he's using another analogy. Basically, you kind of see it's windy, so you're not sowing that seed. You're not sowing the seed because it's a little windy outside. And we'll get to the bonus the bonus method later, and it kind of goes into this. Always kind of sow no matter what. And it says, as thou knowest not what is in the way of the spirit, nor how the bones do grow in the womb of her that is with child, even so knowest not the works of the Most High who maketh all. In the morning sow thy seed, and in the evening withhold not thy hand, for thou knowest not rather shall prosper either this or that, or whether they both shall be alike. So he's saying, regardless of what's going on, sow that seed, no matter what. Small increments. It'll still get you right. And get that in Sirach real quick. I don't got my pocket, so I'm gonna just pull it right here. In the book of Sirach, right? Chapter 19. It's the book of Sirach, chapter 19, verse 1. Is this am I reading this right? Yeah, kind of. It's a laboring man that is given to drunkenness shall not be rich, and he that contemneth small things shall fall little by little. And contemneth small things falling little by little is basically saying if you neglect and ignore small things, you'll have a slow and steady decline. So think about the opposite. If you're doing little things, you will garner great results. Same kind of way. So don't think it a small task. If you study 10 flashcards a day, 10 flashcards a day is 70 in a week. That's 280 every month. Just 10 flashcards a day. Cut that in half. That's 140 flashcards a day if you do 5 flashcards a day. You don't have to go into this big thing and just think you have to read 1,000 chapters and pray 9 times and you gotta and just throw yourself all through a loop. You have to take control of your time. Don't let the time control you, man. Don't be over zealous, over righteous, and just destroy yourself trying to be like the next man. Don't do that to yourself. Take your time with this. Right? Everybody's not going to be on the same level, and that's not what it's about. Being an Israelite is deeper than 50 precepts. Knowing 50 precepts for one topic. I always say it's 4 things when you're dealing with this truth. You got to be spiritually, financially, physically, and mentally on point, man. All 4. Oh, you know all the precepts, but you broke. You got all this money, you don't know no precepts. You ain't got no spirit on it. You got money and you know the precepts, but your mental is bad. You thrown off. You got trauma. Go get some help. Go deal with that. It's like it's time we like embrace just being better in all aspects and stop looking at being an Israelite as this image and this thing that they put out there. Like we have to be great in all aspects of life. Period. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to your business, when it comes to work, communicating better, everything has to be on point. Because we're the elite of the earth. How you the elite of the earth? You work at McDonald's and you 45. How you the elite of the earth? And you don't have grasp of emotional intelligence. But you know some precepts though. You can have Esau kiss the boot, but you can't talk to somebody like a normal person. You got to yell at them and say you're a white woman, a devil. We got to like separate ourselves from this stigmatized image of what an Israelite is supposed to be and embrace being an overall good man and show a real example to people, man. Right. So I'm going to get this in Ecclesiastes chapter 4 and 6. It says, better is a handful with quietness than both hands full with travail and vexation of spirit. So it's better to work with one hand and quietness and peace than to work with both hands and you going through it. So it's better to read 10 minutes a day than trying to read 10 chapters and not your brain fuzzy and you vexed and you only read 9 chapters and now you're like, damn, I went off. Wait, brother, you read 9 chapters. How you go off? If you read one chapter, you did better than most people on the earth. It's a brother, I believe he might be on this call. He was saying how he saw a TikTok and it said, if you do some 18 minutes a day for a year, that's 100 hours a year. And with that result, you'll be better than like 96% of the people in that field. Think about that. 18 minutes a day. You'll be better than 90% of people in that field. 18 minutes. So if I spend 18 minutes a day reading the dictionary or learning how to articulate myself better, I'm going to be better than most people by the end of the year, 100 hours in. And that's only 18 minutes. So if you spend 20 minutes, 25 minutes, 30 minutes a day studying flashcards on history, guess what's going to happen in a year? You're going to be calling history, ain't going to be nothing to you, man. So you can't neglect the small things. When you sow, they watering. They sow, they watering, they sweating, and they don't see nothing. Then it grow and it's small. But at the end, after months, after sowing, it grows over time. I have my own business. That's what this whole setup is about. Have my own business. And when I first started off, I mean, it wasn't nothing, but now it's just growing. And growth is exponential. Exponential means you go from 1 client to 2 clients to 4 clients to 8 clients to 16 clients. That's how things grow. If you get 1% better every day, you will grow in that same way. So brothers, take heed to that because it's serious, man. Right? And think about the ant. Go to the ant, thou sluggard. Proverbs 6:6. Ants do the Pomodoro technique. You know, ants, they work in short bursts and then they have rest periods. They actually have cycles. While ants are working, about 40 to 60% of them are resting in a colony. So when we see ants and they working nonstop, it seems that way, but half of the colony is resting while half is working. So they rotate. So ants do the Pomodoro technique. So how much more us? Especially when the Lord told us to look to the ant and learn from them. So they don't just work. They work, rest. Then they work. It's like the Pomodoro technique. Focus 25 minutes, you get it in, bam. Right? And I wish I actually did this lesson even further in time because I just bought a book. It's called Time Wise. It's an international bestseller. Right now I'm reading a book called Atomic Habits, and we go touch on some of those techniques. But the Time Wise book, it seemed like it's going to be a great book for like time management. So brothers look into others. That's another thing too. Look into other sources to better yourself. I got a book right here. It's called Unlimited Memory. It gave me various ways to utilize our memory. Read communication books. I've read I read business books, obviously for my business, but I read communication books to deal with people in general and like while we out there teaching. So like I said, I got a time management book because I'm like, damn, I got to manage my time better. So sometimes you might just go on Amazon, find you a little book and read that joint. It won't hurt, man. It'll make you better, trust me. But yeah, that's how ants actually work to prevent burnout. So that's what we got to do. Go to the ant, thou sluggard. All right. Little ant crawling on it. It's funny. All right. So the last thing here is my absolute favorite, something that I learned. I'm actually for this. I got it upstairs. Dang, I got it upstairs. It's a book called Atomic Habits. This book is amazing. I love it. So habit stacking is basically when you just add a habit to one that you're doing currently. That's the gist of it. That's what habit stacking is. So let's just dive into what a habit actually is. Because a lot of the time we got false understanding of it. So a habit has 4 parts. You got a cue, like a trigger, like a cue. Then you got a craving, a response, and then a reward. So the cue would be your phone vibrating. The craving, you want to learn the contents of the message. That's a craving. When you see the phone vibrate, the craving is I want to see what's in my phone, what that's about. The response is checking your message. The reward, you satisfied that craving because you got to see the contents of the message. The response, well, I'm gonna check this out. Get another example. Another cue. You overwhelmed at work, a craving, you want to relax. The response, you smoke a cigarette, a wicked cigarette. And then the reward is you feel a little relaxed and less anxious. That response is the habit. That's what a habit is. It's a response to a craving. It's a solution to your problem. That's what habits are. If I walk in the dark room and I cut the light on, that's a habit. You're in the habit of walking in the dark room and cutting the light on. We got thousands of habits. Habits are basically created by man so we can automate things that we do. A lot of the habits you have is automated. You might get in the car, put your seatbelt on, do certain things a certain way. Certain thing you do when you first get up. Those are all habits. And it's just satisfying a particular craving. That's all a habit actually is. Right? So I'm going to get Proverbs chapter 22 and 6. Proverbs chapter 22 and verse 6. That's why the Lord said this. Right, Salaki. Proverbs 22 and verse 6 says this. It says, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. That's a habit right there. You're teaching your children about the Lord, and now they're in a habit of doing things a certain way. That's why we move certain ways from the world. There's certain habits and traits that's stuck on us subconsciously. And that's the thing about habits, it's subconsciously. You don't think about turning the light on when you walk in a dark room. You don't think about checking your phone when it vibrates. A lot of people, they don't think about smoking a cigarette. They don't think about smoking weed or reacting and doing things a certain way because it's become a habit. It's become habitual, something that's just a part of their behavior. And that's the 4 steps to behavior: the cue, the craving, the response, and the reward. We do everything for a reward. So that's why the Lord said, train up a child in the way it should go, because now you're teaching them and training them in habits. All right, so let's get another one. Deuteronomy chapter 6. Deuteronomy chapter 6 and verse 16.
Salakia Kabash.
Yes, sir.
Hey. Salakia, brother Kabash.
Yeah.
You said cue, craving, response. What was the other one, King?
Reward.
The water.
Yep. It's gonna be on the next slide. I believe that's the next slide. Let's go list it out. But yeah, cue, craving, response, and a reward. Like I said, like the rewards of picking up your phone when it ring, you get to see what's in it. Like it's some habits isn't as deep as you like. It's just simple stuff, you know. So this is Deuteronomy chapter 6 and verse 16. It says, "Ye shall not tempt the Lord your God as ye did, as ye tempted him in Massa. Ye shall diligently keep the commandments of the Lord your God and his testimonies and his statutes which he commanded thee." So the Lord wanted us to diligently keep the law and teach them to our children, so it became a habit within our community. Because the Lord understands the reasonings of man. Like Solomon obviously created us. Psychology is a real thing. Brothers can't be scared of that. Oh, that's Esau. No, right? We human. We have like understand how humans work will always help you in the long run. Help you with your marriage. Help you with feeding the sheep. Help you wow your boss. It'll help you just in any endeavor in life. Right. And I had that realization a while back when I was away from the camp for personal reasons, leadership, stuff like that. And as I was away, I'm doing my routine, reading my books, sales books. And I'm just like, okay, cool. You know, communication. I'm like, yeah, I can do this, do that. That's cool. And I started thinking like, wait a minute. I can do this while I teach. I can literally do this same stuff while I teach. And the results I've been getting is 1,000 times better. I actually don't teach the normal way that a lot of brothers teach anymore because just communicating better, just having a conversation with people, not trying to convert them to anything. It just leads to better conversation because 9 times out of 10, they're not going to change. All you can do is plant the seed and people will remember how you made them feel. They don't remember what you said. That's a good quote. It's another quote in sales where they say, people don't care what you know till they know how much you care. So you have to take that and communicate better. That's a whole nother tangent I go down though. But here I'm gonna keep reading in Deuteronomy 6 and verse 18. It says, "And thou shalt do that which is right and good in the sight of the Lord, that it may be well with thee, and that thou mayest go in and possess the good land which the Lord swore to your fathers, to cast out all thine enemies from before thee, as Yahweh have spoken. And when thy son asketh thee in time to come, saying, What mean the testimonies and the statutes and the judgments which Yahweh our God hath commanded you? Then thou shalt say unto thy son, We were Pharaoh's bondmen, and the Lord brought us out of Egypt with a mighty hand." Then it goes until he showed us all these great wonders and how the law is our righteousness. The law is our righteousness. So he wanted us to teach our children about the Exodus habitually, so it just became a habit. And again, the law is just our schoolmaster, that tutor before Christ had came, when you read Galatians 3. And that's why all that stuff in the law was physical. You got to physically sacrifice and do all these things to get you prepared for the spiritual. All right, so next we got the 4 methods right here. The Q, right, is just to make it obvious. When you want to create a good habit, think about the Q. A Q is a trigger, so make it obvious. Here's an example. Something I started doing. I wanted to start drinking my carotene, eating my vitamin D, doing my little, I do probiotics, little enzymes, help with gut health. And something else, my red bought some hair and nail stuff that I eat. It's like some kind of vitamin stuff. And I was on and off. I was spotty, but I read this book, Atomic Habits, and one of the things it said was make it obvious. So you have to say, forget motivation. I always say motivation is just an emotion that's fleeting. It's all about discipline. But the book actually got a chapter. It says motivation is overrated. Focus on environment, something like that. And you can shift or control your environment. Shape is the word. You can shape your environment to fit your need, so you can make things obvious and see the cues. So that's what I do in my workstation. When I leave upstairs when I go to the kitchen at night, since I want to take my stuff in the morning, what I add to my routine, I take it off from the pantry or whatever, and I put it on the kitchen table. So when I wake up and I go in the kitchen, it's the first thing I see. I made it obvious. Oh, I got to take my stuff. That's what you can do. You want to start studying flashcards more? Take some flashcards, split them up, put them in places you go be in the house. So when you walk in the room, you see it, you got to read the 10 flashcards. Bam. Go in the bathroom, take a shower, flashcards right there. Bam, you read them. You make it obvious. That's what you do. You create the trigger. You create the cue. Literally. That's literally a thing that you need to do. Right? Create a cue. Hold on. Rib calling me. See what's going on. Right. All praise. Okay. So yeah, that's how cues work. Like, that makes sense to brothers. Like, making it obvious, like making a trigger for yourself.
Kind
Kind of beautiful. So you want to read more? So that's something else I do at night. I set up my desk a certain way. I will put my flashcards on the desk, and then I put my Bible on the desk. So when I come downstairs, that's the first thing I see sitting on my desk. So just do things like that. If you want to read, like, just whatever you want to do as a new habit, make it obvious for yourself. Make a cue that triggers it. I want to start stretching in the morning. What I started doing, I started taking a little stretch pad thing my rib had. I started rolling it up, and I sit next to my bed. I want to drink water more, so got my water right here at all times, so I can just look at it and take a swig. So that's very important to make these things obvious. Pretty simple concept. So next is the craving. You got to make it attractive. When I made this lesson, I didn't even have the full explanation of this, but I just read it like 2 days ago, how to make it attractive. You just connect the want with a need. or you connect the need with a want. So say you like to watch Netflix in your bedroom or something. Maybe next to the remote you got some flashcards or a history book with some highlighters just sitting next to the remote. So now you think, or write this down actually, after I read for 5 minutes or study for 10 minutes, I watch Netflix. So now that need is connected to that want. So you make it more attractive. And 30 to 60 days doing this, it becomes a habit. So anytime you're ready to watch Netflix, bang, grab my stuff, I read, do my highlighting, get that knowledge, grab the remote, cut the TV on. Like me, I like to watch like a hip hop media. You know what I mean? Like I like to watch the hip hop media stuff, Joe Budden podcast, that kind of stuff. So what I'm gonna start implementing is I'm gonna like do flashcards before I hop on there, something like that, or read a history book for 10 minutes before I get in there, something like that. You know what I mean? So that's something you can do too. You like to go hooping, whatever it is, add that need to that want when you are trying to develop a new habit. And the third thing is the response. You want to make it easy. And that's going into what we was talking to earlier. Making it easy. It might not be easy for you to read 12 chapters, brother. It might be easy for you to read one chapter. If you read one chapter a day, that's 30 chapters in a month. That's better than 0. Right, so I'm going to get this in Ecclesiastes 12 and 12. This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12, verse 12. Right, we read this verse to kind of cut people, but we got to kind of use it in this context as well. It says, further, by these, my son, be admonished of making many books. There is no end, and much study is a weariness of the flesh. You don't want to overdo your studying. I say just 10 flashcards a day is better than none. Literally. So you want to make the response, the habit, an easy habit to keep. You might not be able to go to the gym and lift weights and do all that up front. So buy some dumbbells. Right? When I wake up, I grab dumbbells and I hit it 10 times. Then I do 10 push-ups. And I pray, or whatever. After I pray, I do 10 push-ups. After I do flashcards, I do 10 sit-ups. Whatever the case may be, just make it an easy thing to do. You can start off small. And ultimately, the reward has to be satisfying, which, you go to the gym, you do positive habits. The satisfaction is feeling better, skin glowing, you look filled in your shirts. The satisfaction is knowing the precepts, recalling dates off the top of your head, being able to apply those scriptures. You might have certain habits you might want to do. Like I want habits. I got a habit. I literally was, one of my bad habits was just overworking. It would throw my schedule off. I'm supposed to have a cutoff time at 9 and I can push it to 10. But since I've been reading this book, I just started staying on my cutoff time and it just been real prosperous. So yeah, just certain things you got to do, man. And the reward to come with it. That makes sense to brothers. Brothers got any questions on any of this stuff?
You made it easy, man. It's beautiful the way you set it up.
Different too.
I ain't got no questions, but the way how you putting it, because being a prospect, man, and going out there teaching sometimes or trying to teach. And I thought about this maybe a few weeks ago, like, man, I'm messing up at times because I'm trying to teach exactly like how the brothers in the camp, like Naquan and the other brothers, are trying to teach, bringing out 50 precepts, and nothing against what they're doing. But as you come in this truth, you got to learn how to teach what's fitting and what's comfortable for you. And the way how you breaking it down with the time and, doing a chapter a day if you can, instead of trying to do 5, 7, or whatever chapters a day, is making it more comfortable. Do it the way how you feel comfortable, as long as you're bringing out the truth and what's comfortable and what's time consuming for you.
Perfect. It's beautiful. Man.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
I'm glad brothers getting it. Saki, what was that?
I said, Con, that make a lot of sense how you been breaking it down, actually. You know what I'm saying? Because brothers do be trying to overdo it, like read a lot. Because I be reading 8 chapters a day, but I read 4 in the morning and then 4 at night. But like you said, a lot of time you after 45 minutes you stop retaining what you've been reading.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So like you gotta pace yourself.
Yep.
So
And I just suggest brothers test it out. Just don't set a goal for chapters. Say I'm gonna read for 30 minutes, 20 minutes. You'll be shocked at how much you can get without the extra distraction, without that goal. Just saying, you know what? I'm gonna set a timer on my phone, keep my phone over here, and I'm gonna go read for 20 minutes straight. No distractions, no nothing. Just 20 minutes straight reading. And that's all I get. So you go get it in. You feel me? And you get a lot accomplished, man. Like doing stuff in spurts. Like, hey, go to the ant. You know what I mean? The ant does it in spurts. They take a breath. That's what they do. That's the Pomodoro technique. And a lot of this stuff you guys can look into. Habit stacking. Go to ChatGPT. Hey, habit stacking. I'm trying to get a schedule. ChatGPT. We can't be scared to embrace the stuff that's in this world, utilizing ChatGPT and Google and AI and all that. So we got to utilize this stuff, man. Don't let people discourage you from just utilizing what you can utilize. That's one thing that I've stepped into fully. I'm not trying to be the next brother. I'm me all day long, and that's what it's gonna be. You know what I mean? So that comes with maturity in this walk, and I want brothers to have that exact same mentality, because you're a unique individual. You're not so and so, right? And being a unique individual, you can always grow and just be better, man. 'Cause that's my thing, man. I try to be better spiritually, financially, mentally. You know, I'm in therapy. You know, black men hate therapy. Ooh, I'm in therapy. I do 12 o'clock sessions every Saturday. And we're not sitting there crying and holding each other's shoulders and all that madness. We just have regular chill conversations, man. But like, dang, I was telling them about the stuff I'm telling y'all. Like, yeah, man, I've been reading this book and we kicking it. So we gotta like embrace just being better, man. Like that's just something we gotta do. Because we don't know how long we go be in this thing. And I'd be damned if I'm living check to check and I'm 50. That's just not me, you know what I mean? So I gotta make moves. Come on, man. I'm glad brothers getting it, man. I was hoping brothers understood that. Hoping brothers was understanding it through the spirit. So yeah, that's the 4 methods right there though when you're dealing with building a new habit. And this is the structure of when you building a habit, like when you writing out your schedule, the human brain works better with time and location. So, and I just started this last night, but you want to write out what you go do with the time and location and literally read it to yourself every day. Like if you got a Sunday schedule, Monday schedule, just read it on that day. I will go to the gym at 5 a.m. at Edge Fitness. I will read my Bible at 4 p.m. in my living room. I will, you see what I'm saying? And say that to yourself, because now you got, because a lot of times people will say, I want to read more. But you don't have no real plan, no real steps, no real concrete thing in place. So if you want to read more and study more, I will study my flashcards at 3 p.m. after I shut down my laptop in my living room. You see what I'm saying? Like get real specific and actually read that out loud to yourself every day. Say it out loud if you have to, because now you're just lying to yourself. You said you go do this. This is what you said you was going to do every day. That's what I just wrote down. I wrote my morning schedule down. It says I will get up at 5 a.m. I said I would get up at 5 a.m. In my bedroom. After I wake up, I will pray toward the east in my bedroom. After I pray, I will grab the stretch mat on the side of my bed and I will stretch. That's literally what I wrote down. I'm literally going to read that out loud every single day. I'll read the whole thing for Monday. on Monday morning, and just read it the night before. Just read what I'm gonna do that next day. Go through my whole schedule and read it out loud to myself. And that's when we go full circle. Or Salaki, somebody was gonna say something? Thought somebody was gonna say something. Brothers got any questions on that? That makes sense.
Good time.
Uh,
When y'all creating these schedules, try using it in this way. And that's when we go full circle and get to the habit stacking. The key is basically to tie your desired habit into something you already do every day. I'm gonna call somebody out. Call somebody out who ain't said nothing. Pat, your brother Patrick, man, I'm gonna call you out. All right. What is something that you do every day, a current habit? Could be anything. Brushing your teeth is a habit. Anything.
I eat breakfast.
You eat breakfast.
Yeah.
Now what's something you want to do more? What's a new habit you want to do?
Study my Bible more.
Okay. After I eat breakfast, I will read and go over 10 precepts. You see how that works? How did I try to develop the stretching habit? I pray every morning. After I pray, I will stretch. That's it. Simple. You tie a habit you do all the time, put a new one on that thing. Call somebody else out. The brother Natazak, Amath, right? You tell me something you do every day, brother.
I read the Bible every day.
You read you said Psalms every day?
No, I read the Bible every day. Preferably 4 chapters.
All right, cool. So what's something you would want to do more?
Study the history more, the Hebrew more.
After I read 4 chapters, I will go over 3 Hebrew words. See how that work? You just add it to what you do already. And then, like any other habit, because you've been reading the Bible every day, probably for a while, it's habitual, it's a habit, it's just second nature. Now, as you start doing the Hebrew words after you read, now it'll turn even more habitual. Now, after you read, you're going over 3 Hebrew words. That's how you do it. That's simple as that. That's literally what you do. That's why habit stacking is so effective, because you're tying it up to something you already do. Then tie that up to the one. Like, hey, brother might like a Netflix show. Hey, before you watch a Netflix show, go over 3 Hebrew words. Read a chapter in a history book. It's really that simple. That's how you go about it. Want to get to the history more? Buy some history books and read a chapter a day after you read the Bible or before you do something that you like to do. Brothers might like playing a game or whatever. Just tie that need to a want to make that habit more attractive. And I'm actually get a closing precept here. And I ain't forget, we go over the bonus, but I just got a closing precept real fast. And 1 Corinthians chapter 9. 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 24. 1 Corinthians 9 to 24, it says, know ye not that they which run in a race run all, but one receiveth the prize, so run that ye may obtain. And that's what I went into earlier. Hey, to hell with the goals, focus on the system. Everybody got the same goal. Every brother want to read, study more, go to the gym, make more money. We all got the same goal, but it's about the system. Hey, the Chiefs' goal was to win the damn championship. They got blew out by the Eagles. You know what I'm saying? The Eagles' goal was to win the championship. What separates them? That system. Paul just said that. He said, hey, man, everybody running and want to win a race, but only one winner. So we got to focus on that system. It says, every man that striveth for the mastery is temperate in all things. So striving for the mastery is Kobe shooting 10,000 jump shots every single day. That's a habit for that man. Kobe, every day. I actually went to a Lakers and Pistons game way back in the day. I was still a kid. And I seen Kobe before the game. He shot like, I don't know, man. I counted, he made like 33s on a row. He was just shooting. Like from the side. Like I'm right behind him, just hitting them boys. Like he made, I literally count them, like they made like 18, 19 threes in a row. But that's a habit for him. He just does that. He probably do that every day of his life. From the time he was a kid, he probably was shooting every single day. So that's striving for the mastery in a carnal sense. And mind you, I just gotta add this: all men are carnal. Like we literally in the flesh. You know, Jake be getting fly for the feast day, and like we are carnal at the end of the day. But yeah. So we can strive for that mastery, man, in all aspects. You know, you can go to the gym, brother. You might have to get up 2 hours early. That's something else I should have added to the lesson. You gotta get up earlier, man. You gotta be work at 7. You should be up at 4, 5 o'clock. So you can do certain things. You just gotta do it. You just gotta humble down and do that stuff, man. It says, now they do it to obtain the corruptible crown, but we an incorruptible. So we gotta strive for that mastery. And taking control of your time, again, it's the number one asset that you can have. Taking control of your time, man. It's nothing better than that. You know what I mean? Taking control of that time. If brothers could take control of their time, I mean, I'm sure most of y'all brothers, most of y'all mighty brothers would say that'd be highly beneficial, right? Wouldn't most brothers say if you could just control your time, that'll help you in damn near everything? Exactly. So this is ways you can do it. And that's why I open with that preset. Brother said, well, hold on, what's the lesson going into? I was building it up for a reason. We got to whet that sword. It takes time to, stop in your tracks, create a schedule, implement new things. But once you whet that sword, you put that wisdom, you ain't got to use as much strength no more. Once you get the thing in order, once you get it up front, put in the work up front like they did with the temple, you're going to slide the things right in place. So take that time to put that schedule together, to implement these techniques, add habits to new ones, add new habits to current habits, add a need to a want, to time block off certain things. I'm going to study for this long. I'm going to do this for this while. I'm going to do this for this while, whatever the case may be. Take time to do that. Brother might not be studying with his rib like he should. That's something that I had to actually do because me and my rib, both our schedules is crazy. So we're not reading together. I'm not giving breakdowns. She just asks me questions here and there. She read on her own, I read on my own. But what I start implementing, I added a habit to a current one. When I read, now I just create a drive-by lesson. Might be 5 to 6 precepts. It might be exhortation. Or I might be teaching or something. I just went to the significance of Yahweh Shah being the Lamb. There were like 5 precepts. Got in a nice note. Shared the note with her after I taught her. Kissed her. Prayed. That was that. Quick little 10-minute thing. You know what I mean? So you might want to teach and read with your read more. So whatever the case may be, you just got to make it good for you, man. Make it fit you the best through the Spirit. Man. And brothers who stayed all the way through the Spirit, Lord willing, everybody stayed. We can get into the bonus, man. We can go ahead and get to the bonus, which is a little bonus thing was supposed to pop up, but it ain't work how it was supposed to. It's all good. Yeah, bonus. Yeah, there you go. Bonus, right? Bonus. Right. So the bonus is, I want brothers to write this down. The bonus is BTN. Write down the letters B, T, then N. BTN. And simple enough, what BTN stands for is better than nothing. BTN means better than nothing. 3 verses a day is better than nothing. 10 push-ups a day is better than nothing. You understand that? And this method, when I understood that, because in the Atomic Habits, they call it the 2-minute rule. Do something for 2 minutes if you ain't got time. 2 minutes, literally. So when I understood this concept, Because used to do that a lot. Because like I said, I read my 4 different books throughout the day. But stuff happens. Work, life, kids, like being a counsel, whatever. And it happened all last week, certain stuff. So when I can't read my 20 minutes, guess what I did? I didn't read at all. Who's guilty of you have to read 7 chapters, 3 chapters late in the day? You don't have time to read. So you figure, I can't read right now. I don't got the time to. Who's guilty of doing that?
I'm definitely guilty of that.
I'm guilty of that.
I'm guilty of that too.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. But guess what I started doing when I couldn't read my 20 minutes? You know what I did? I read for 5 minutes. I read for 8 minutes. And every day, guess what I did? I read all the books I was supposed to read. Because I did something that was better than nothing. I didn't go to the gym Friday. Guess what I did? Went downstairs, grabbed my dumbbells, did some workouts. Guess what? That was better than nothing. You see what I'm saying? It's better than nothing. And I asked y'all that, and I knew I was guilty of that. So now, hey, what was that? Friday, I read the Bible for 5 minutes. But there's somebody out there who didn't read it at all.
Yeah.
And that 5 minutes, you already know what I'm going to say. It was better than nothing. Straight up. So if you can't read your 7 chapters, and you should change that anyway to reading for a specific time, but you can't read your 7 chapters. I don't care if you read 3 verses. It's somebody that didn't read any. It's always better than nothing. Always. Literally. So that's the bonus thing. BTN is better than nothing, man. And don't beat yourself up too. The Habits book tell you about if you miss one day, that's cool. Just don't miss 2 in a row. If you miss one day, don't miss 2 in a row. It becomes a pattern and you fall back into it. So don't beat yourself up. So write those schedules out, man. Add the current habits to the, or add new habits to the current ones. Add wants to needs and focus on time blocking off time and really seeing how much time you got in a day and control your time, control your environment. You know what I'm saying? You want to do flashcards more. Like the brother, he said you want to do history more. Well, if you like the video game, wherever you keep your controller, guess what you do, brother? You put a history book there and put the controller on top of that mug. So when you grab the controller, what you see? A history book. So now you're like, dang, I got to read the history book. Pick the history book up, read. Now you play the game. That's how you do things. You set up your environment to your benefit, man. That's why I wasn't taking the vitamins. They in the pantry. I'm just up. But now I was like, I get up, they right there. Oh, all the vitamins right here. I got to take my vitamins. That's why I wasn't stretching. Now I get up right next to my bed. Oh, here's the stretching mat. I got to stretch. See how that works? It's a real simple concept, but a lot of the times these outsourced books and ChatGPT and Googling and researching, it'll give you a light bulb that shines on things. That better than nothing is the most simplest thing ever. But most brothers literally just said they would just not read at all because they couldn't read 3 chapters. That's like crazy, but it's like we all did it. Like, why would I just read for 3 minutes if I ain't got, like, why would I just not read at all? Like, why not I just read for 2 minutes if I got to? Literally, So, Lord willing, that made sense, man. And do brothers got any questions about anything? Any comments, concerns?
I was about to say, it's a beautiful lesson, and a lot of the stuff that you're going over, it's stuff that it's like me. I could say I done thought about these things, but didn't know if it was safe to think like that. So by you bringing this out and telling us this, it's like a refresh of breath air. Like, dang, he right. So sometimes when the Lord tell my spirit to do some of these things, I shouldn't feel guilty about that. So man, I appreciate this. All praise to the Most High. It's a great lesson.
Appreciate it, man. I'm smiling here.
I want to
Salaki.
With Salaki, one at a time, brothers.
Okay, I just wanted to say something real quick.
Yeah.
Man, for a prospect like myself, man, I deal with anxiety, man. So you bringing out this lesson, man. It makes me feel a little bit more. It calms the spirit, I guess, for me, for lack of a better term, man, and it builds the confidence showing that you don't have to always be on the same time or trying to keep up with other brothers. You know what I'm saying? Do it on your own time, but still try your best to accomplish something, even if it's little by little.
Yes,
You know what I
sir.
mean? And I yield at that.
Yes, sir. Little by little, better than nothing. Every day. If you get 1% better every day, the growth is exponential, man. Literally.
I just wanted to say 144,000 to water was like my man and I say, man, this lesson was like all the other prospect calls we had was like, you know what I mean, straight Bible and, you know what I mean, going into scriptures and breakdowns and all that. But this is like self-examination. It's like on a different level, man. And I just want to let you know how much it meant, man. It just, you know what I mean, it is sure a lot, you know what I mean? And then these tips that you gave us got to make us better and not just break the Bible breakdowns that's better in life, man. And then to say 144,000 waters for that king, man. That's beautiful. And the way you set it up, man, it's like, you know what I mean? It was easy to take in and understand. Like it like and then this term better than nothing. I'm about to apply that to my life every day, man. I just want you to know that.
All praises, man. I appreciate that, man. Y'all got me smiling ear to ear, man, because I put some time into this lesson. I knew brothers would need this lesson, and I'm real excited about. I'll be excited about the stuff I learned, and I just want to put it out to brothers because I'm always about. It's something my uncle always tell me. He says continuous and never ending improvement. That's what my uncle always used to say, and I apply that aspect to everything in my life, like. All because you in this truth don't mean you have to stop pursuing things that you would pursue in the world. Like I got a dream car, I want a bigger house, and I ain't guilty or wrong for that. You know what I mean? It is what it is. I'm in this world right now. Like I tell you, like Sabat told me, just hit me up when the nukes drop. Until then, I'm making moves, man, straight up. So it's like, don't just pigeonhole yourself to this stigma and say, I gotta be this rough, rugged Israelite, and I can't get myself right. And like, nah, man, we got to get ourselves right in every aspect. And me doing that is how this lesson came about, because I want to do better with habits. I want to do better with just a bunch of stuff. You know what I mean? So that's how this lesson came about. And I do appreciate the brothers that's on here taking notes and that appreciated the lesson, because I really put my heart and soul into this, man, because I love y'all brothers, love this congregation, and hopefully brothers really, really learn something and apply it. If even just one of y'all do, that it was worth it.
And I want to say something, brother Willie Anderson, man. 144,000 the waters, bro. That was beautiful, bro. I've never heard anything like that. But
Hey man, I got about that nod. I can't take the credit for it, man.
yeah, I want to say something about the brother Kabash though, bro. Like I've been prospecting with WFI since like November, man. But
Yeah.
prior to that, this one of the brothers I would personally like DM, and the brother would send me quizzes. The brother would give me advice. He's a genuine brother, man. He never put pressure on me to join an account. So this is a brother you definitely can reach out to, man, for counsel, coaching, things of that nature. But besides that, bro, I think this lesson you did, it should be mandatory for prospects, bro. Like it should be on Cold Cut channel, etc. You know what I'm saying? This the most profitable lesson I've watched in like years, bro. And lessons brothers bring out is mighty. It's all profitable. All scripture is profitable. But bro, this is like life in general as well as the truth, bro. I think this is something that should be implemented throughout the whole congregation, bro. Like prospects need to watch this, bro. And I think it'll make them more comfortable with finding their drive or building up their skill and technique in this truth. Instead of feeling pressured and crushed, man, when they can't accomplish certain things. So with that, I yield all praises to the Most High.
I agree.
Shout the water, brother Kabash. I know.
Man, I'm smiling ear to ear, man. Y'all brothers don't know how this is warming my heart right now. And you ain't supposed to say that. We supposed to be rough, rugged Israelites, right? Brothers warming my heart though, man. This is beautiful, man, because that's the results that I want. I want it to be something that stand out and different. And I'm gonna be honest, I am recording this right now, and my plan was to put it on the Cold Cuts channel. Oh, what in the world? I don't know what's going on. This my phone doing what it want to do. That was weird. Perfect timing, I guess. But yeah, I'm recording this right now. That was the spirit. That was the spirit. I really didn't do that. That was weird. But yeah, so I'm actually recording this, and yeah, I mean, I'm gonna put this. If brothers don't mind, I'll put all this in there. Everything you just said, what y'all saying now, like I'll put it all in there. You know what I mean? If brothers want, so with that being said, if brothers want to add or say anything to it, that'd be mighty.
Salakia too, and I wanted to say, which we had pointed out really in the beginning of the lesson. You said people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care, and that is huge because I struggle sometimes with like being so overzealous to the point like, man, you don't get this, you don't understand, like, come on, like it's easy, like what's wrong with you? And now it's like, all right, I gotta bring a different perspective in because I can't be so hard on my family or my cousins and my pops, siblings, whatever it may be, or even strangers in the street. Because sometimes I can really get angry because the stuff that we know, it may seem simple to us, but maybe it's not so simple to them. So I got to be more patient. That's goes into me being more patient. So I appreciate that little piece of wisdom right there.
That was a whole nother thing too. But yeah, I'm big on that. Brothers, certain brothers here in Detroit, I'm big on just communicating better and yeah, just communicating better in general. Using open hand gestures and talking with your hands and talking to the sheep a certain way and letting them speak and actually asking them questions to show you care. Like, hey man, how long you been a Christian? Ah, dang man, that's crazy. What's your favorite book? You know what I mean? Versus what's your nationality? Oh, you don't know what's going on. You ain't black. That's a color. It's like I just met you. Like, why you correcting me? Like versus just asking me, hey, what's my opinion on this picture right here? Ah, yeah, Christ, man, he a black dude. Oh yeah, he is black, man. Let me show you that in the Bible. It's like a different way that I deal with the sheep, and the results speak for themselves. Like ever since I started doing that, like the sheep will stay there for like the whole time I teach down there. Sometimes, like they just be listening. And I try not to teach people. I just try to have a conversation at this point. Pretty much, that's how I view it. So yeah, I'm glad you. Your brothers don't know how happy I am about this, man, because I was really excited about doing this message, and it's just crazy the fact y'all receiving it how I would want y'all to receive it, smiling and saying, "Oh, this most profitable thing," and I seen it in a while, and oh man, the brother quoted the damn. You quoted that quote, man. Like that's crazy to me. That's like, dang, brothers really taking it in. So I'm smiling, man. I appreciate y'all brothers for real, man. And yeah, my rib said they gonna want me to always do the prospect call now. So I can't do it now, man. I'm on that time schedule. But one thing I will throw out there to brothers, and this part probably won't be in the I'm gonna keep all of this in the damn thing. I ain't gonna edit this. But one thing I am gonna do, a couple brothers might know, I'm actually gonna start my own YouTube show very soon. So it's gonna be where brothers can call in, and I'm going over certain things. So, you know, hopefully brothers tune in to that because it's gonna be this kind of vibe.
Hey, we're gonna be praying for that too. We're gonna put some prayers up, man, that you succeed in that, brother, because brothers do need that, man. So all praise to the Most High.
Appreciate y'all, brothers, man. Brothers got anything else? With Slakia, who was saying something?
Yeah, I want to say that's crazy because on the new year, the new moon, you kind of gave me the heads up on what the lesson was going to be about. Yeah. So I already came into it knowing what it was going to be about, and you still blew me away with it, bro. I just want to let you know that, like, even with the heads up, it still was like phenomenal, bro. You did an excellent job, man. And I told you it was going to be good at this type thing. I said that at the new one, but like, yeah, it was excellent, bro.
I appreciate you, man. Appreciate you.
Khan King, and but also too the water for those books you recommended.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and purchase the books because I see how much they helped you
Yeah.
and being able to communicate with other brothers, and that's something I need help with.
I didn't actually tell y'all the communication books. I told you Time Wise and Atomic Habits. Communication books. Well, I got one right here. This one right here is Communicate to Influence: How to Inspire Your Audience to Action. This is by Ben Decker and Kelly Decker. It's a fire book. I got another one. It's called what's that book called? It's called The Art of Productive Disagreement. Fire book. And my favorite one is How to Listen with Intention. That book is fire. How to Listen with Intention. Active listening is a skill, and active is in there because it takes real it takes work to actively listen, and that's something we all struggle with. You know, you cutting the sheep off and cutting people off in general. So yeah, that's, if out of all those three, How to Listen with Intention is fire. This Communicate to Influence is fire too. It going into like presentations and stuff like that. Sales books in general help me too, but as far as the habits and this whole lesson we put together here, Atomic Habits did it. And I got a book, Time Wise. I haven't read it, but I would still recommend it. It said it's an international bestseller. I kind of skimmed through the titles. It looks fire. So that's what I'm reading after Atomic Habits. So hopefully that book garners some pleasant results.
What's that last book you mentioned?
Atomic Habits, and then it's Time Wise, like WISE, Time Wise. I literally just bought that book.
Before that, King, the
Atomic Habits.
Listening with Intentions.
Yeah, How to Listen with Intention. Yeah, that book is phenomenal. I love that book. That book is great, man. It's a lot of actionable things in there that I found, and I YouTube videos and stuff like that. I don't always just cut on the true video. I cut on hey, how to articulate yourself video, how to not interrupt people video. Chat GPT give you some tips. Like all this stuff I'm telling y'all, you put in Chat GPT, say, hey, make me a schedule, it gets you right. Like you gotta utilize what we can in this thing, man, to our benefit, That's what I do. Chat GPT helped me with this lesson.
I want to say, bro, I appreciate how well organized and put together everything was, bro. From the slides to you going into the definition of the words, to you expounding on the different books, expounding, really giving a sense on everything, man. Like we see brothers do that with scriptures very eloquently, but you with these different methods and things like that, bro. That what kind of really blew me away. And like it says in 1 Corinthians 14, in verse 40, if I'm not believe, let all things be done decently and in order, bro. So this was extremely profitable. Are you?
All right, man. Brothers, I love it, man. The Lord said, let other men boast of thee, man. So I definitely appreciate the love, because I really put time into this, man. So I'm really glad brothers loved it, man. I'm going to tell my wife all about it as soon as I get off. So they went well, and I'm really happy about it, man. You got to think this is my first time doing this kind of lesson with my new equipment and, with the understanding I got now of how we should move. So the fact y'all receiving it this way is wow, man. It's just, I'm ecstatic, man. I love y'all brothers, man. There's a couple brothers on here who ain't said nothing. Lord willing, y'all all took this and it's really profitable to y'all, man. Real talk, bro. Like I already put time in this thing, man. So I love that y'all loved it, man. I see my brother Marquas on here. He ain't even a prospect. He just in this thing.
God, King, the water. Shalom, King. I'm over here scribing it out.
God, all praises. I got a PDF too with all the slides and the notes that I got too. So
yo, send that up.
Yeah. I'm gonna send it in the group chat and have everybody send it out. It's a PDF with all the matter of fact. Can I upload it here?
The Water King. Salaki, there's a group chat. Where's that group chat? I'll get in on that group chat.
Now the group chat is a senior officer group chat, and they was gonna send it to y'all, but y'all probably on y'all phones though. I was gonna say I can upload it in here too. See if y'all can download this lesson in here. I'm gonna send it in here. See if y'all can see that. If y'all can I know you can see it, but see if you can download that lesson. Let me open it up, make sure this is the right one. Yep, this the one with all the notes too. The little notes I got, the precepts, the slides. So I mean, yeah, we got iPhones now. I mean, phones are downloaded. But
Yeah, this popped up.
cool.
God, I just downloaded it.
I downloaded it.
The water, I downloaded it too.
Yeah. So Maquas, I don't know how they got you doing it, because I know they said they was gonna have a scribe it, but you can take your how you scribe it and maybe download that PDF, and however they go send it out, do that. But I'm gonna put it in the group chats as well, man. So tell them to send that out, Lord willing.
Okay, kind of.
No.
I'm still, adding to what you said on some parts and certain precepts, and then when I'm done, I'm gonna send it to the group chat to you, and then if that's how you want me to do it, and then you send it out. So I don't know how
you can
how you
send
get
it.
it. Okay,
If you
kind.
expound, and I like that. That's dope. I'm gonna just send this PDF out too, so Jake can have the slides and stuff. But other than that, I mean, because I sit here and talk all day. I love my brothers. Brothers, got anything else they want to bring up?
God, I wanted to just say mighty the water for the lesson. I feel like I can manage my time, a little better now, based on the lesson you gave today, the boss, and I really appreciate it because that go to the end, that slugger really hit me. Because sometimes I be dragging my feet, especially with the word, and I know I can't do that. So just a mighty the water for that.
Kind. And all
I want to give all
aspects, man.
praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai and the water for having us a mighty teacher on here, man. Come Yashal.
Yasha, man. Yahweh Shem Yasha Brak.
Yeah, sure.
Come Yashal.
All praises, man. So, if that's that, man. Nobody else got any comments, questions, or concerns, or need recommendations, or whatever, then that'll wrap up the lesson. All praise to the Most High, and Lord willing that y'all enjoyed the music, but kind of all praise.
I was gonna point that out earlier. You was bumping that new Taza tape. Brothers got to tune into that Taza tape too.
Yeah, Taza tape too, man. That jump fire, man. Brothers get in there. Man, all praise. I just peeped the brother got the kid with him, man. Praises. All praise to the Most High, though. Love y'all brothers, man. So, I'm going to give y'all brothers a mighty salute. Yahweh Shem Yahshua Barakatham.
Yahweh Shem Yahshua
Shalom, King.
Shalom. Great.
Alrighty. All praises, all praises.